Hello and welcome. You did it. You bought a yoga course and you have made time and you have pressed play. I want to assure you that you've already done the hard part. And I'm going to do my best to make sure from here on out it is as easy as possible. This is a 21-day course, but I understand that carving out daily time for practice won't be possible for all of us. So if you have time to practice twice a week, great. Once a week, well, you just bought a 21-week course. No problem. I would suggest the first time you do this course, you might want to do it in order. Reason being, some of the practices we do really build on what you've learned before. So going in order the first time at least might be helpful. After that, it's up to you. Pick a few practices you really like. Ditch the rest. Do it backwards, or do it in order again. Each day has 2 videos. The first is your how and why video. And that's where I've put most of the instruction, the reasons behind a particular technique, ways that you will adapt it to suit your particular body. And then a separate video that is the practice itself. And I did it that way so if you do go back and you start to repeat practices more than once, you don't always have to hear all the instruction, and there's a little more space for you to just be in your practice and start to cultivate your own wisdom and your own why. I hope you find that helpful. I will say that efficiency was really on my mind when I created this course. So most days, maybe except for 1 or 2, the how-to video and the practice video together come in a little under a half hour. That does mean there's a few things I had to sacrifice. And one of them is final relaxation. Ordinarily, anytime I teach asana or postures, there would be a period of rest on the back at the very end. In some ways, we do have that here in that our days alternate between more active practices and more restful ones. It goes back and forth day by day. However, if you would like, on the more active days where we do more postures, you could take a moment to have a rest on your back for just a few minutes before you go on about your day, if you have time to. That's the most important thing. I want to make sure that we are respectful of your time. If you do have a few moments to spare, you could really create a kind of framework, a little bit of ritual that really sets this time apart from the rest of your ordinary day, that really signals to yourself that you're stepping into a sacred time. Before the practice, that might be as simple as lighting a candle for yourself, or placing a little lavender oil on your palms, just letting that waft around you. Something that lets you know this time is special and it's yours. And at the end, if you do have a moment, you might like to have a journal nearby and make a few notes to yourself, something that really spoke to you, something you want to remember or that came to you through the practice. So that's a way you can create a framework around this time that might only add a couple minutes, but might expand the benefit you're able to receive and keep. In terms of stuff, You don't have to have special yoga stuff, but it's nice to have these things. Some kind of strap. So this is a yoga strap. But if you don't have a special yoga strap, a belt would work fine, even just a sturdy scarf. This is a yoga block. 2 of these would be great. If you do not have 2 of these, big thick books would work fine. I'm sitting up on a yoga bolster. Let me show you. It looks like this. It's pretty firm. If you don't have a yoga bolster, a couple of bed pillows would work, maybe a couch cushion would work, no problem. Yoga mats are great, and they're great because they're sticky. That's what you want, a sticky mat. So that when you're doing the standing poses or all fours, you don't slip. If you don't have a yoga mat, that's okay. Just do the practice on as firm and non-slip a surface as you can find, barefoot if you can. The other nice thing about a yoga mat is it does sort of delineate your space. We talked about that idea of stepping into a sacred time and sacred space. The yoga mat over time will start to feel like your own little 2-foot by 6-foot sanctuary. So if you have the means to come across a yoga mat, I recommend it if possible. I think that's all the stuff that you'll need. Before we move forward and move into the day 1 practice together, I want to take a moment to honor the origins of this practice. I owe my life, my well-being, and my livelihood to these ancient indigenous wisdom teachings of South Asia, of India. And I'm glad to be able to share them with you. I'll share them to the best of my ability. If these techniques and this wisdom speaks to you, I encourage you as soon as possible and as often as possible to learn from South Asian and Desi teachers to get as close to the source as possible. Because I know for me, the more I've done that, the deeper my understanding and the greater the benefit. I will teach to the best of my ability. Anything I get right, I owe to my teachers. Any mistakes I make are mine alone. We're in this journey together. I really look forward to it. I'll see you in the next video.